Well, good morning. When Clint Eastwood, the Hollywood director and actor, was asked, why at age 88 are you still directing movies? He said, I don't want to let the old man in. And the reason I'm here is I don't want to let the old man in. So I'm here to represent the over 80 demographic in ICSEI. There are not many of us, we're a very small group. But we have an expertise. We know where we have been. And we probably know where we're going. And one of this longitudinal view tells me our schools are better than they ever were. We educate more kids to higher levels than we ever have. And in spite of what politicians and the Murdoch press may say, we're doing a pretty good job. Having said that, there's so much more to do, so many more miles to go. As you heard from Pooja, so much to do. So many kids are being underserved. So many kids are being not served. School improvement is not just a fad of the last 15, 20 years. It's something I suspect that will consume just about all of you throughout the rest of your careers. I want to share one powerful school improvement strategy, and it's called invitations. Let me tell you a story. Let me take you back to when the earth was cooling and I was a senior in secondary school. I was sitting in the cafeteria studying. Now that was unusual. I had got through high school by doing next to nothing, by playing the game, playing the system. I had very little interest in the school. I was anonymous as one could be in a school of 2,600 students. And I had really no interest in school, other than sports and girls, and since I was only about 5'1", they didn't have much interest in me. And here I arrived in the study hall 2 weeks before the final examinations because I decided that I'd had enough of secondary school and I wanted to move on. While I was in the study hall, my physical education teacher, John Laxton, initiated a discussion with me. And I liked Mr. Laxton. He liked me because I was reasonably good in sports. And he said, what are you going to do next year? And I said, I really don't know. I could go work in the steel mills, and if I pass this exam by some miracle, I might go to university. He said, well, what are you going to do in university? I said, I haven't a clue. I haven't thought that far ahead. He said, well, what would you like to be? And I said, well, I really don't know. I thought about teaching because when I was in the Boy Scouts, I did some teaching and I kind of liked that. And John said to me, I think you should think about that. You'd be really good at it. Now what John offered to me was what I would call an invitation. A message to me that no one had been giving me at that school. That I, in fact, was able, that I was responsible, that I was worthwhile. Now, I did pass those exams, barely. I got into university, barely, and never looked back. I became a teacher. I'd like to think I was a pretty good teacher. And that event, the very fact I'm telling you, suggests that it was rather significant in my life. An invitation is a message that says you're able, responsible, and worthwhile. Think of your school. Everything you do in a school communicates messages. The way you finance the school, the way in which you build the curriculum, design the day, assess the kids, even simple things such as the signs in the hallway, the way you use the public address system, the interpersonal relationships with kids. Everything communicates messages. The question being, what are the messages? An invitation is a summary description of messages, formal, Thank you for your work on the school play. Informal, you really did a great job on that essay. Verbal, nonverbal, continuously transmitted to students with the purpose of telling them they're able, responsible, and worthwhile. The opposite of that, of course, is a disinvitation. Disinvitations say, you're not very able, you're not very responsible. My challenge to you, and this is what I leave you with, when you go back to the schools you work with, look at all the messages and ask the question, are these messages inviting school success? Or are these messages discriminatory, demeaning, and disinviting? Think about it, and then do something. Thank you very much.